All right, final segment here. We just got a couple minutes left, and through the power of technology, we were able to make this work because I was super pumped to get Robin Huebner joining us here from Minneapolis at the U.S. Gymnastics Olympic Trials, which will continue tonight with all we mentioned earlier, the headline event with the women going today and Sunday. It's great to see you. I knew a little bit about your gymnastics background. The story you wrote was fantastic. How was it difficult to write? Was it difficult to go back to that time?
Yeah, I find myself sort of reliving a lot of things, and a lot of them were great, but then there were some not so great things that happened.
Yeah.
The one not making the Olympic team in '76, but there were the factors that went into it are kind of painful to relive and think about sometimes.
I had no idea how political it was. Maybe I shouldn't have been that naive because with gymnastics and figure skating, it tends to be that way. But to find that out as young as you were, that had to be like a slap in the face.
Yes, it's a reality of, there are objective rules that are applied to our sport, but they kind of get applied subjectively in some cases because you know different judges will see different things. So yes, there is that element to it. But what's interesting too is that so when I was competing, they took the top six and one alternate to the games in Montreal. And so that's just how it went. Like if you didn't make the top seven, you weren't going.
Yeah.
Um, but what I think some of the things that went on behind the scenes was communications with judges like, hey, we've got to make sure she gets in, this person gets, we got to get her in. So let's elevate her scores. Not maybe saying it in those terms,
Yeah.
but let's make sure she gets in. Whereas now there is all of that discretion actually built in too. So the top five make the team. They can pick one alternate, two alternates. They can pick non-traveling alternates too. But the only person guaranteed a spot at the end of Sunday night will be the person who finishes first in the all-around, which will probably be Simone Biles.
Yeah.
And beyond that, the rest is all discretionary. Like you could finish second in the all-around and not make it, which is not very likely when I think of it. But that number one spot is really the only one that's guaranteed.
Wow. Was there a time where you didn't want to talk about gymnastics anymore? Did you not like the sport after that went down?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So I went on to compete at the U of M afterwards and had a really, really nice career there. But then once I was done with that, about a year or two after that, I was like, time to put this chapter of my life aside. And then I concentrated on, getting into journalism and TV broadcasting. But it's just so funny. I got sucked right back in, as soon as my own daughter was competing.
Yeah.
And so it was so fun to watch her. And then when she was done competing, I was like, I still want to have my hands in there. So I started judging. And so now I am a level 10 judge,
Wow.
which is the highest in the developmental program. The elite and Olympic level stuff is higher, but I'm a level 10 judge now just this last year. So it's pretty fun.
The headline is perfect, full circle. So you're now there and you get to see I don't think there's a more famous Olympian on the United States team than Simone Biles. I don't care what sport it is. And I was talking earlier, Robin, about what she went through in Tokyo. And now she's back and she could do this all over again. She could go win 4 gold medals next month, right?
Yeah, well, for sure.
Man.
The things that she went through and so many other young women, first of all, let's not forget the horrific sex abuse
Yes.
scandal involving the team physician Larry Nassar. So she was a victim in all of that, like so many were. And then they had the COVID thing happen, and then finally they were competing in 2021 in Tokyo, and just all of that came to a nasty blow up for her, and the stress got to her, and she developed this twisty thing that everybody who's a gymnast knows what that is about. If it didn't happen to them, they know somebody who is struggling with it. And for her, that's how it popped up in Tokyo. And it just sickened me that people said she quit on the
No.
team and things like that, because she did it for her own, not only her mental health but her physical health, because she's doing skills that nobody else can do in a lot of cases. And if you're, 15 feet up in the air and you get lost, you could,
Oh,
have a catastrophic injury
yeah.
or get killed,
Yeah.
break your neck.
Yep.
So she did what she had to do in that moment, and now for her to be able to work through all of and 4 years later now be at the top of her game, which is higher than anybody else's game, it's pretty crazy.
We got to roll here, but I want to leave you with one question. How wild is this in Minneapolis? I mean, tonight it's going to be crazy, right?
Yeah, well, it's everything is wild to begin with the gymnastics, but also what I am attending this morning is National Congress, USA Gymnastics National Congress, for coaches and judges and anybody interested in that, learning more about rules and things. So there's a ton of people here at the convention center for that. And then, the focus is about a mile away at Target Center. I'm so lucky my hotel is like a block from Target Center, so I just walk out the door, and then there's a big pride parade tomorrow too. So
Oh,
I'm told that there will not be a place to park in Minneapolis tomorrow.
I really appreciate you making time for me this morning. It's great to see you down there. Enjoy it, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks, Dom.
Robin Huebner from Inforum, obviously formerly with us with WDAY, and a breath away from making the Olympics in 1976. That was awesome, and I appreciate her making a few minutes. I'll be watching. I know other people will as well. You watch. You stop. There are certain athletes. Michael Phelps was one of them. Usain Bolt was one. Simone Biles is one. I stop. I stop. I want to see what she'll do, and it's going to be probably ridiculous what she does over this weekend and then next month in Paris. Good stuff. Let's do some